everyone! Welcome back to Let's Talk About Mental Health. Today I'm going to be talking about some things that I've learned while working in mental health care and lessons I took from it. So to give you a brief background, I currently volunteer in mental health care as a Facebook admin for a mental health organization, and one of my responsibilities is to respond to individuals and provide support. So the first thing I've noticed or learned is that people are really raw and genuine. When I talk to people and respond to them, they're really authentic and they don't pretend to be okay when they're not, or pretend to be someone else that they're not. People share deep and personal stories and things that they may not necessarily share in real life with others. I've noticed that this is different from real life in my day-to-day interactions, because people in society wear a mask and try to conform to the norm. For example, pretending to be happy when deep down they're really struggling and need help. When I'm on shift, I notice a lot of people say that they don't feel comfortable sharing what they're going through or their thoughts and feelings with friends or family around them, because they've been shut down, judged, misunderstood, stigmatized, or not taken seriously when they talk about mental health issues. And as a result of this, they keep silent. It's important that we all work to create a safe space for people to be able to share their genuine thoughts and feelings without feeling judged or stigmatized, because that way we won't have people going through things on their own and being kept silent due to fear. Creating a safe space is definitely easier said than done, but it's not impossible, and it's a skill that we can all learn and develop. The second thing I've learned is that sometimes we have to start the conversation first, and that's okay. On shift, I go through hundreds of comments, and sometimes there's people who don't directly send us a private message if they need support, but rather leave hints in comments that we admins pick up and then respond to. From personal experience, I find it hard at times to start the conversation with people because of fear of burdening others with my problems, or I'm not sure how they're gonna react. That's why I don't talk about it. Starting the conversation first is sort of like when guests come to your house for, say, a party, and you open the door and let them in, rather than them breaking down the door and then entering your house. It's sort of like that. When we start the conversation first, it says to the person that we care and you don't have to go through this alone, because we are here to support you and listen. I think the most important aspect is the we care bit, because sometimes people feel like no one cares about them or their problems and that they're somehow not worthy of help. And when we reach out to them first, it can make them realize that people do genuinely care and want to help them. The third thing I've learned is that sometimes the signs of I'm not okay, I need some help, are really subtle and can be hard to discern. For example, when I was on shift one time, I saw a comment that said leave under a question that we posted that was, what is one thing that you always wanted to do but never had the courage to? Now, I can interpret the leave response as, say, that person wanting to leave a toxic relationship or friendship, or I could interpret it as the person wanting to leave by taking their own life. The question lingered in my mind. Is this person trying to tell me that they are feeling suicidal, but in a very indirect way? I wasn't sure, but I assumed that it was the latter and played it safe and responded accordingly. Also, I noticed that sometimes people don't share what they're going through unless we probe them in a way or ask a question that opens up that conversation. So this is a different person, but I was on shift and I was asking them about coping strategies to help manage feelings of feeling low, and then they disclosed to me that they experience self-harm thoughts. And even though I didn't directly ask them, do you have self-harm thoughts or do you experience self-harm thoughts, they disclosed to me that they do, and we talked about that. So even if one question doesn't directly address something, it can most certainly open up the path to talking about it. In the mental health field, the same message can be conveyed in a multitude of different ways, and that's what I've realized while working in this field. The fourth thing I realized is that no matter how much training I do, no matter how much experience I have, I am not going to know all of the answers to everything, and that's okay because I'm still learning. And it doesn't matter what profession you're in, you can't possibly know everything about your field, and that's okay. My training doesn't prepare me for every single scenario or case that may arise, because there's so many things that could happen and I can't prepare for every single one. I learn through exposure in this field. So I have talked to a few people who feel suicidal, and the more I do it, the more confident I get in working together with these people and helping them. The fifth thing I learned is that I cannot pour from an empty jug. For many years now, I've ignored my brain telling me to self-care, self-care, and self-care. I've always ignored it and just pushed through with work and not take care of myself properly. And I definitely did feel the aftermath of that, and it did take a toll on me. But then I still continued on working, especially in high school. I kept studying, even though my mental health wasn't the best. I kept studying. But it wasn't until I started this Facebook admin role that I realized that I can't do that anymore. Because not too long ago, I tried persevering through a shift, even though I have had a medical testing appointment that morning and I wasn't at 100% with my mental health. And I tried doing a shift and it didn't go so well. I slowed down in my ability to respond to people, and I couldn't really think logically through responses, and I didn't work at my best compared to the other days I had shifts. And that's where I realized that I can't push it in this field, because if I'm not okay, it will hurt not only me but the people I respond to, and it might impact the people I provide support to in adverse ways. And so that's why I can't push it anymore. Also, in this field, I get exposed to a lot of different things that are usually heavy in nature, and it does take a toll on me emotionally sometimes, but through proper self-care for myself, I can manage these feelings, and I replenish and recharge myself for the next shift I have. Something I've been trying to tell myself is you can't pour water into a cup from an empty jug because there's no water in the jug in the first place. Basically, I can't help and support other people if I have no fuel or battery in myself. It's basically like trying to record a video with 1% battery. It's not going to last very long and it's not going to be very effective. That's what I'm trying to drill in my head, but that will take some time. That's the end of the video. Thank you for watching and please take care everyone.